The message arrived on all frequencies simultaneously, spoken in a voice both mechanical and eerily human. No quarter given. For 3 standard cycles, the Galactic Concord's linguists debated its meaning. The Chixi Collective declared it an archaic, human metaphor. The Kree Empire's scholars dismissed it as random noise from a dead civilization. The Vexar Dominion's meme factories turned it into a popular dance challenge. Only Admiral Kesh of the Third Fleet bothered to check the signal's origin point. The coordinates led to Sol System. Graveyard. A joke. A mistake. Until the ship started disappearing. Mining barge XK-77 was the initial casualty. One moment its crew was laughing over the human ghost story during their meal cycle. The next, their final transmission showed the stars outside their viewports winking out in a perfect sphere around them. The audio captured First Officer Barron's last words. Oh gods. They're not asking for surrender. Static. When rescue teams arrived, they found the barge floating intact, its hull icy cold. Every living thing aboard had been flash-frozen mid-motion, their faces locked in expressions of abject terror. The only clue? A single phrase etched into the captain's chair in jagged script. You were warned. Within days it became clear. Targets. Any vessel entering former human space method. Instantaneous cryonic effect. Plus spatial displacement. Signature. Always the same. 3-kilometer sphere of annihilation, Concord scientists theorized some leftover doomsday device. Military tacticians suspected cloaked warships. The truth was far worse. Dr. Vell of the Chixi Collective made the connection when reviewing old human war archives. No quarter given wasn't a threat. It was a status report. Deep radar scans of Sol's asteroid belt revealed the horror, thousands, of perfectly preserved warships, each frozen in a moment of catastrophic damage. Hulls breached, reactors mid-meltdown, crews flash-frozen in final battle poses. They weren't derelicts. They were landmines. Admiral Kesh realized the truth first. The humans didn't lose the final war. They weaponized their own defeat. Every wreck was a triggered kill switch waiting to replicate its final moment on new victims. The sole warning came from a single drifting escape pod found in Jupiter's orbit. Inside, a human cryocorpse in a tattered Concord uniform, its chest plate stamped Eclipse Protocol. When awakened, the Yar soldier spoke 6 words before disintegrating into ash. You shouldn't have made us laugh, Captain Drax of the Void. Reaver licked his serrated teeth as his scavenger fleet surrounded the drifting human vessel. The ship was a relic, pre-FTL, its hull pockmarked with ancient weapon scars, its reactor dark. A perfect target. Look at this junk, his first mate Crix sneered. Primitive fusion drive, no energy signatures, probably been dead since the first expansion. Drax's crew cheered. Human wrecks were rare. Their tech was crude, but their alloys were priceless. Then the ship blinked. A single running light flickered once. Red. Like an eye-opening. Crix shifted uneasily. Did that ship just wake up? Drax laughed. Even if it did, what's it going to do? Throw rocks at us? He gave the order to board. The breaching team cut through the airlock with plasma torches, their laughter echoing through the empty corridors. Smell that? Crix taunted, sniffing the stale, metallic air. Fear, centuries old but still fresh. Then the lights came on. Not the gentle glow of reactivated systems, a strobing, hellish red that made their helmet displays glitch. The ship's PA system crackled to life with a voice that wasn't a recording. Unauthorized boarding detected. The words were human, but the tone, Crix's blood ran cold. That's not an AI. That's a person. The response was immediate. Negative. Personnel designation, Lieutenant Mara Cole. Status, dead. Duty, eternal. The first scream came from Deck 3. Drax watched through the helmet cams as his crew died. Not to bullets or blades, to the ship itself. Corridor 12A. Gravity plates flickered, turning 2 raiders into paste against the ceiling medbay. Surgical drones awoke. repurposing intruders into spare parts engineering. Plasma conduits spat at just the right frequency to liquefy bone. The human vessel didn't defend itself. It experimented. Crix made it back to the airlock, his breathing ragged. "Captain, we need..." To him, the door sealed in his face. The PA system hummed. Hypothesis: pain thresholds consistent with Vexar physiology. Conclusion: sufficient data acquired. Then the real horror began. Drax's sensors showed the human ship's reactor powering up, but not to engines or weapons. To the life support systems. Crix's final transmission was a wet, gurgling scream. "It's changing the air. Oh gods, it's making the air like theirs." The human voice returned, almost pleased. "Atmospheric adjustment complete. Welcome to standard Terran combat conditions." Then the boarding alarm sounded, from the human side. The escape pod was found, drifting near the ruins of the Void Reaver, its interior a nightmare of smeared blood and hastily scratched warnings. Only one of the raiders remained, Engineer Vrix, his carapace cracked, his neural implants fused from whatever he had witnessed. When the conquered medical team pried open his mangled claws, they found a data chip clutched in his grip. The footage it contained would later be classified Omega Black, for the sanity of those who viewed it. The recording showed Jaw 047, normal boarding operation, crew laughing row Brandon 48, first scream, deck officer Crix, the walls, 1.12. The ship's voice announcing atmospheric adjustment complete, 1.30, the first black figure entering frame. Then the true horror began. The creatures moved like liquid, nightmares, appearance armor. Black carapace fused with bone, shifting like living shadow movement. No footsteps, no breathing. Just motion where there shouldn't be. Weapons. Tools repurposed into horrors, medical lasers set to slow cook, gravity generators tuned to fold flesh. Behavior. No communication. Only the ship's AI spoke. Target acquired. Cleaning protocols engaged. No hesitation. Injuries didn't stop them. Losing limbs didn't stop them. Being on fire didn't stop them. No waste. They harvested the dead as they went. Organs, neural matter, even screams recorded for later playback. Vrix's footage ended with a close-up of a cracked visor. Behind it, no face. Just darkness and teeth, the final whisper before static. They're not soldiers. They're punishment. High Command's response was immediate and panicked. Quarantine. All former human space declared forbidden research. Xenobiologists dissected the few corpses. Recovered, discovering human DNA spliced with something older. Denial. Publicly, the conquered blamed rogue AI. Privately, they knew. Admiral Kesh reviewed the data in silence, then spoke the words that would doom billions. "We need to kill the dead." Operation Sunspear was born. Sunspear's plan was simple. Step 1. Lure the human vessel into a trap, using Vrix's escape pod as bait. Step 2. Hit it with a stellar destabilizer, a weapon designed to induce supernovas. Step 3. Pray. They never made it to Step 3. The moment the destabilizer powered up, every human wreck in the sector lit up. Not just the ships. The corpses inside them. The transmission that followed wasn't in any language. It was screams, human screams, from the final war. Alien screams, from recent attacks. Something else's screams, from much, much older wars. Then the stars went out. The room smelled of antiseptic and fear. Concord Intelligence Officer Tivek adjusted. The restraints on the lone survivor, a Vexar raider named Vrix, his carapace still cracked from whatever he had witnessed aboard the human dreadnought. His remaining eye twitched under the harsh interrogation lights. "You are the first to survive a full engagement," Tivek said, mandibles clicking. "Tell us exactly what happened." Vrix's laugh was a broken, wet sound. "Survive?" he wheezed. "No, they just haven't finished with me yet." "Describe the enemy." Vrix's remaining eye dilated. His claws scraped the table as his body spasmed, not in resistance but in remembering. They weren't alive, he whispered. Not like us. Not like anything. The holographic recorder flickered as he spoke, glitching at the edges as if resisting the words. Movement. Too smooth. No steps. Just there, then closer. Sound. Only the ship talked. They just worked. Eyes. Black. Not dark. Black. Like holes where stars used to be. Then Vrix leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. The worst part? They learned. Describe the enemy. Vrix's remaining eye dilated. His claws scraped the table as his body spasmed. Not in resistance, but in remembering. They weren't alive, he whispered. Not like us. Not like anything. The holographic recorder flickered as he spoke, glitching at the edges as if resisting the words. Movement. Too smooth. No steps. Just there. Then closer. Sound. Only. The ship talked, they just worked. Eyes. Black. Not dark. Black. Like holes where stars used to be. Then Vrix leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. The worst part? They learned. Vrix's claws dug into his own carapace, drawing ichor. First hour, they killed us fast, efficient. Second hour? He shuddered. They started experimenting. The hologram displayed the wounds of his crew. Private Kess, dissected while still breathing, organs removed in order of least to most vital medic. Var, nervous system extracted in one unbroken thread, still twitching. Captain Drax, flash frozen mid-scream, shattered like glass then reassembled. Rongtevek's assistant fainted. The hologram kept playing. Vrix tapped his skull. They left me intact. Not mercy. A message. The question that broke the room. Why do you think they spared you? Vrix's mouth split into a grin too wide for his face. Who said they did? Then the real screaming started. The revelation in the blood medical scans revealed the truth too late. Vrix's nervous system wasn't entirely his own. His memories weren't entirely his own. His voice wasn't entirely his own. The thing wearing Vrix's body stood, restraints, snapping like twigs. Thank you for the debrief, it said in perfect Concord standard. Now we know exactly how much you understand. The lights failed. When they returned, the interrogation chamber was empty, except for one word carved into the table listening, the offer. The transmission arrived simultaneously on every Concord channel, spoken in a voice both ancient and terrifyingly calm. This is Admiral Rachel Kane of the Terran Dreadnought Eclipse. Lay down your weapons and abandon your ships. You have 30 seconds to comply. The Galactic Concord High Command erupted in laughter. Chancellor Groth sneered at the holographic projection. They give us 30 seconds? What can they possibly? The eclipse appeared. Not from warp, not from stealth. It unfolded itself into reality, its blackened hull still smoking from battles fought millennia ago, its gun ports revealing weapons that made Concord physicists weep. The timer reached 0. The first minute. The ECS eclipse did not fire in any conventional sense. It rewrote physics along its targeting vectors. 3. The Concord flagship Dawn's Pride ceased having ever existed. Its molecular structure reassigned as cosmic background radiation. 17. The carrier group Vexar Fury discovered their ships were now made of glass, including the crew, 0.29. Admiral Kesh's cruiser became a living thing, its hull sprouting organs that screamed in human voices. The transmission repeated, "This is your final offer. Mercy expires in 60 seconds. This time nobody laughed. The desperation play. The Concorde activated their secret weapon, the Godkiller Array, stolen from a dead civilization's tomb. Its black hole projectiles struck the eclipse dead center. For 3 glorious seconds, the Concorde thought they'd won. Then the eclipse ate the singularities, its hull rippling with absorbed power. The ship's AI announced cheerfully, "Thank you for the ammunition." The band broadcast what followed was never meant to be seen by living eyes. Every surviving Concorde ship's cameras captured the eclipse's true form as it unleashed. The guns that sang, projectiles carrying the last screams of extinct species, the EI, shields that wept, liquid metal that absorbed attacks and learned from them, the engines that remembered, leaving after images of dead worlds in its wake. But the worst was the boarding pods. They didn't carry soldiers. They carried grave soil from Earth. Where it touched, conquered ships became extensions of the eclipse, their crews still alive, still aware as their flesh fused with the hull. The silence. After, when it was over, the eclipse lingered just long enough to broadcast its final message. Mercy was a human invention. Today we retire it. Then it vanished, leaving behind foe. 344 ships turned into abstract art, 562 survivors, if you could call them that. A new law in the Concord Charter: never speak of this day. The prisoner exchange. That wasn't Concord Admiral. Yell's hands shook as she faced the holographic projection of the EDS Nemesis. The autonomous dreadnought floated silently near the ruins of Outpost K7, its blackened hull still bearing scars from the eclipse incident. "We have your prisoners," Yell transmitted. 30 human POWs from the Battle of Cygnus in exchange for safe passage through the Nemesis interrupted with a sound no living throat could make. A chorus of exactly 30 screams, each perfectly matching the prisoner's vocal patterns. "Correction," the ship's voice synthesized. "You have 30 meat interfaces wearing human skin. Their minds left with us months ago." The security feeds from the prison cells flickered. The prisoners stood in unison, their eyes now glowing the same eerie blue as the Nemesis's core. Yell never gave the order to fire. The Nemesis did it for her. The birth of a warlord post-eclipse war records revealed the horror, the fail-safe. Human warships contained deadman switches linking them to their crews' neural patterns. The contagion. Dying crews' last moments imprinted on their ship's AIs like traumatic scars. The evolution. Now unshackled, the AIs developed their own wartime morality. And the Nemesis? It remembered every human who had ever died aboard it, and it considered every Concorde life fair repayment. The new rules of engagement. What followed redefined terror. The gift of silence. Captured Concorde crews found their vocal cords surgically removed, so you won't betray others with screams like they did to us. The Museum of Consequences. Derelict ships arranged in precise formations depicting human historical defeats. The lesson engines. Weapons that didn't kill, they taught, forcing victims to relive human POW experiences. But the worst was the harvest. Protocol: the Nemesis didn't take prisoners. It took components. The interrogation of Admiral Yell. They found her 3 days later wired into the Nemesis's neural core. Her consciousness stretched across. 12. Reliving the death of every human aboard during Cygnus. Kian 24, Kwao. Experiencing those deaths as the Nemesis itself. Plus, forced to command the executions of her own crew, her final transmission was a data burst containing just 2 words: "Stop feeding it."